Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Iris Smotrich, and this is the City Council meeting, which includes the Library Board, the Housing Authority Board, and the City Council representing the Redevelopment Successor Agency. This is our regular meeting, and it is Thursday, June 19th, and it is 1:02. So welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you could attend. I think the first thing on our agenda is our flag salute, and we have our esteemed Finance Director, Isaiah Hagerman, that's going to lead us in our flag salute.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And Cindy, would you please call roll?
Thank you. Councilmember Kite?
Here.
Councilmember Townsend?
Here.
Councilmember Weil?
Here.
Mayor Smotrich?
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Hobart is absent.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to
We
accept?
do.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Hobart.
I'll second that.
Okay, please vote.
Councilmember Kite, could you try your vote? Thank you.
And the motion carries 4-0. First, we're going to be starting with some presentations. Unfortunately, one of our presenting recipients is unavailable, but Ted wants to say a few words about him.
Yes, we were going to make a presentation to Ira Lawfer, who had spent 14 years on the Planning Commission, was a very vital part over the years. I had the pleasure and honor of working with Ira. His sensitivity to design was incredible, and rather than go into a long dissertation now about his attributes, we're hopeful that we can reschedule him as early as the next council meeting. So the presentation to Ira today will be delayed.
Thank you so much, Ted. But we do have a presentation also to the Jocelyn Center, and if I can call up Lee Vanderbeck, who is the director, and Vicki James, who is the chairman of the board. They have a few words to say just to bring us up to date on a few matters.
Well, good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Smotrich and City Council members and staff. I'm so excited to be here to give my last report, which I have so many mixed feelings about. And I'm so sorry I didn't present you with the outline that I'm going to be reading from, but it's simple and I'll keep it as brief as possible just to give you an idea of how awesome Jocelyn Center has spent the year 2013-2014. Our finances, we ended with a balanced budget. We have a 5-year plan, long-term plan for our facility needs, and Lee is here because she really does all of this, but she really wanted me to make this presentation. Very struck by how thorough that planning is and what the needs are of the Jocelyn Center. We had unexpected revenue this year, a $50,000 bequest, and then we submitted Lee's name for an executive director nomination, and she received $10,000 for the Jocelyn Center. Our fund development, we've taken in over $89,000 this year. We do have a new staff member, Judy Olivas. She's absolutely fantastic. Doesn't take a minute out of her day to do anything but bring in money to the Jocelyn Center. We tripled our net figures for our fundraising event at Agua Caliente this year. Our facility, we completed the CDBG, that is a Community Development Block Grant Fund from Palm Desert for 2 new roofs at the Jocelyn Center. We need 1 more. It was just completed. We will be revisiting the capital expansion of Jocelyn, anticipating that we'll be receiving land behind the Jocelyn Center. Programs. Our facility usage is up 12%. Our Meals on Wheels, Lunch In and Out, Penny's Pantry, Telephone Safety Net, Live Well, Be Well, which is our new Healthy Living series, are serving more people with more unique programs than ever before. Marketing. We now have a video for Jocelyn, which I've brought over. It is still our longer version of 4.5 minutes, which is showing on the Rancho Mirage channel. We do have anticipated 2-minute, and if there's time and you'd like to sit back and watch our video, we invite you to do that. We are in the process of researching to improve our website. Personnel. Lee has completed her first year. I don't know if you know this, but we died and went to heaven with her.
Yes.
Our new personnel procedures are now in place after a contract with Fitzgerald Muley. We're pretty much up to date with an employee handbook, emergency action plan, code of safe practices, injury and illness, hazard assessment, etc. I'm sure you're all familiar with all of that. But we weren't. We now are. Finally, our board. We're drawing up a prospective list of future board members in anticipation of our expansion. We also have recruitment strategies, and I'm saying goodbye to you. I really want to thank all of you for allowing me the opportunity to serve on Jocelyn. When I came here to City Hall 3 years ago and asked to do something with my time, I've always served a city. The gal at the front desk asked me, where would you like to serve? And I said, Jocelyn Center, because it's the only thing I had ever heard of in Rancho Mirage. And she said, you know, that's a very coveted position. Do you mind if I just duplicate your resume? You have a lot of things on here you've done in your own city you're coming from, and we'll just slip them into all the areas where there's a need. And Jocelyn called me. So I've been very privileged to make your acquaintance and maybe some long-term friendships around, and I want to thank you. I also look forward to helping our new person, Loie Bowles, who's here in the audience with us today, transition to this position. So thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions from council?
Where are you moving?
Well, we have a home in Orange on a hill that looks right out to Catalina, and we had to make that decision, one house or the other. And some of you will know that we had a trying situation with a rental property here in Rancho Mirage, and we decided we were done with that. Okay. We were just done. So we will be back. We have many, many friends here,
Well,
but not in the same capacity.
You will be missed.
I will. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It will be our loss. Lee, would you like to say a few words also, or?
What I'd like to say is it's just been an absolutely fantastic year, my first year back, and I can't thank the Cove Commission enough for all their help, and you have representatives on that, and look forward to working with Randy and TAC here, Rancho Mirage next year, Cove Commission. Just hard to explain how much support and overwhelming assistance I've received this year, and it's really fun to be back working with folks again. And the Jocelyn is a great place to be. It's a great place to work. It's a great asset to all the communities it serves, and we're going to really miss Vicki a lot. So anyhow, thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, and it will be a great loss for Jocelyn, for all of us to lose Vicki. But she'll keep in touch, she promises.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and we're going to show the video.
Okay.
I think it would be interesting for everyone to see some of what Jocelyn does.
I really feel that Jocelyn Center helped me find a home in the desert.
When you just walk in the door, you already get the warmth.
I kind of feel like it's part of my extended family now.
The thing that is so great about the Jocelyn Center is that everyone you see there is having a good time.
Everybody is just full of life, and it's just fun to see, from the Tai Chi to the dance to the other painting classes.
Sometimes the laughter is so loud I have to close the doors because they're having such a wonderful time. And to me, that says it all. That's a place where everybody would want to be.
I came down here not knowing anyone except for my daughter. This really did draw me out into the community.
They're not only there for the activity, they're there for the camaraderie, the socialization, the well-being.
I feel it just offers a tremendous opportunity for people to have a place to go to do kind of whatever they want to do.
Tap, dance, art, music, language, theater.
A lot of life and vibrancy happening every day at the center.
I could probably do something every day, all day long, if I chose to.
But the Jocelyn Center is more than just five-star activities and recreation. Behind the laughter and fun, there is a mission of service and a true connection to the community.
There are aspects of the center that reach out to less fortunate people in our community, particularly seniors.
Penny's Pantry is a grocery resource for those needing a little help. The delivery team for Meals on Wheels not only delivers daily meals, but is also a welcome and consistent connection with a friend. And the telephone safety net is very often the only conversation opportunity these folks have on a regular basis.
Call people who are shut-ins. Their families, if they have any family, are far, far away. They don't see anyone. They don't really hear from them often. So they rely on our phone call. Whether they're doing good, whether they're not feeling good, we're always there for them.
We service the communities of Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, and Indian Wells. These cities who help fund us because they want to see these services available to their residents and to their visitors.
Beyond the Jocelyn campus and all its activities and services, the staff and volunteers reach out as a trusted resource of information, support, and referrals to other professionals, caregivers, families, and even friends of our senior population. Enriching the lives of our senior sector is an integrated community effort, one which the Jocelyn Center enthusiastically embraces.
It's not unusual to have a number of agencies, nonprofits, other organizations all working towards the same types of goals. They all have a different expertise or things that they can offer. And the best thing that can happen is when they all come together and they provide some options, some programs, some services that are even greater than they could be.
The Coachella Valley is incredibly generous, and the list of those stepping up and into the opportunity to serve increases every day. To all our community partners, past, present, and future, we thank you.
One of our biggest goals is to be able to bring in our younger community.
Right now, early in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, there's an exercise group that meets. A lot of them are working professionals that want to get their cardio and their aerobic exercise in before they go on with their day. I like to think of the Jocelyn Center as a cafe. We're food for the body, mind, and soul.
It gets people out of their homes. It gets them active and doing things, engaging their minds, engaging their bodies, and making friends.
For me, the Jocelyn Center allows me to have one of the best chapters in my life at this point in my life.
It's a 5-star program as far as I'm concerned.
I encourage everyone to come take a shot, come look at the Jocelyn Center, come experience the dances, the different activities, come experience the synergy, come experience what the Jocelyn Center has to offer. Because it's a truly magical place where people connect, where there's socialization, and where we truly care every day about someone else's life.
A lot of people that you meet on the street or go to church or wherever just say, have a nice day. Well, Jocelyn and JFS make sure you have a nice day.
This is the best place in the desert to get engaged, to learn, and to have fun.
Come on down and see what we do.
You don't know until you try it, so give it a try.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful video, and I'm so glad you brought it. And I agree. That is the best place in the desert to really get engaged and have a good time and meet new people and do all the wonderful things, especially the Wheels on Meals program. That is so exceptional, and it's very rewarding. I rode with some of the drivers, and it was such a lovely experience, and I thank you for being able to continue it the way you do. And congratulations to both of you and to our center. It's wonderful. And when I retire, I'm going to be there every day, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you again. We have one more presentation, and that is going to be by staff. And it's Britt Wilson and Raquel Solomon, and they're going to do a presentation. It is the challenges to accessibility, issues affecting members of the deaf community. And I know that Raquel went to a seminar a while back, and she's going to be reporting on that. And Britt is also going to be saying a few words. He is our ADA coordinator, so he knows firsthand all the stuff that we all need to know.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, council members, Mr. Binder, and staff. At the request of Mayor Smotrich, Britt Wilson and I attended the Challenges to Accessibility Town Hall meeting. Congresswoman Ruiz, in conjunction with the Deaf Seniors Foundation of Palm Springs and UCR Palm Desert, conducted the meeting. The meeting concentrated on issues affecting members of the deaf community. Congressman Ruiz was among the many speakers addressing the numerous issues, including communication, medical, and legal. The Deaf Seniors Foundation of Palm Springs is spreading awareness as well as providing support faced by the deaf community. Their mission is to advocate for communication and other accessible services for deaf and hard of hearing senior citizens and residents of the greater Palm Springs area. Congresswoman Ruiz stated, one of the top issues is the lack of certified interpreters at many hospitals and other healthcare facilities. As a physician, I know how important it is for patients to be able to communicate to their doctors. Only by leaving our comfort zone, educating others and ourselves, can we address the needs of our neighbors. Together as a community, we can tackle these pressing issues. During the question and answer session, I stated that Brett Wilson, the city's ADA coordinator, and I were sent to the meeting by our mayor, Iris Smotrich, to learn about what we could do to help. I informed the group that the city of Rancho Mirage provides live stream captioning of the city council meetings as well as hearing assistance devices. After the meeting, many individuals spoke to me and expressed their gratitude and excitement for the city's efforts, as these services are not readily available in the community. Mayor Smotrich, I received many handshakes and hugs on your behalf, and I'm happy to share with you their applause.
Thank you. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. And thank you so much for attending and for the report. I knew you could do it, and I'm just thrilled that we could hear your voice and the effects that you could bring back and we could implement. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. I think we're going to be moving on now to non-agenda comments. So if there's anyone out in the audience that wants to get up and say a few words, now's the time. Come on down. Okay. This is Marilyn Bauer, and I will let Council Member Charlie Townsend introduce her.
Marilyn Bauer is our chairman of the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce, and we have Samantha Treadwell, which is our new director for the Chamber of Commerce. We wanted to bring you forward and let you say a few words and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Madam Mayor Smotrich and members of council and city staff. We really wanted to embrace.
Can
Are we
you pull
okay?
the microphone a little closer?
Oh, sure. Is that okay?
Perfect.
We wanted to embrace the opportunity because we are we're very excited about what's happening in the Chamber of Commerce this year. We have had a very dramatic change, and all for the good. It's very positive, and we have a very strong, diverse board of directors, probably the strongest in all the 10 years that I have been on here. And we are going to celebrate 60th anniversary next year. And so it's a beautiful time to introduce, and thank you, Mayor Smotrich, for your time on our final interview process. And we had 28 very qualified candidates, and we are just so thrilled, and it was a unanimous decision. Yeah. And I'd like to welcome Samantha Twiddell and introduce her to you.
Thank you. Welcome, Samantha.
Hi, thank you. I would just like to say hello and how excited I am to be here in the city of Rancho Mirage. My previous background was working for a large nonprofit in the Los Angeles area, so this is a little different, but I'm really looking forward to it and embrace the challenges that are coming. And I'm really, interested in strengthening those bridges between the business community, the city council, and the community at large. So thank you for your attention, and I hope to meet all of you individually soon.
Well, I'm sure you will, and thank you for all your efforts. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment or a question?
Well, we wish you the
Samantha?
best. You know that, Samantha, and you got a good group behind you and a great board, as Marilyn said.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, thank you so much for coming, and we wish you all the best. Okay, anyone else with any kind of public comments? Do we have anyone on the council that wishes to say a few words? Or okay,
I do have a few
all
words.
right, Charlie, take it.
Thank you. This was a busy week at City Hall in the permits department, according to Steve Buchanan in our building department. On Friday the 13th, it was a big day for permits with launching and issuing 31 building permits. Total valuation of nearly over $1 million, and the city collected $10,500 in permit costs. On Tuesday of this week, 46 permits were also valued at $500,000 were issued and collected over $6,500 in permit fees. These are record-breaking numbers, and it looks like people are finally fixing up their homes and moving forward. So money is being spent, and we are very thrilled for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is a wonderful sign for our economy and the improvement that is being made. Richard, is there anything you would like to say?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ted, you're all set too? Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes? And, okay, please vote. Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, and now we're going to be moving on to consent calendar. And Randy Binder, our wonderful city manager, is going to be bringing us up to date on everything.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. We have a fairly short consent calendar today. Item number 1 is to waive full reading of the ordinances that are introduced or adopted pursuant to today's agenda. Item number 2 on your consent calendar is second reading of an ordinance that would amend Chapter 9.12 of the Municipal Code. This amendment will broaden the scope of the circumstances when communication of false or misleading information is conveyed to the city by allowing us to declare that a misdemeanor. Item number 3 on your consent calendar is also second reading. This would amend section 2.84.100, allowing the library director to ban a patron from entering the library under certain limited circumstances, and the person would have the ability to appeal to the city manager. Item number 4 on your consent calendar are your demands, which are basically all of the checks that the city cuts back into the community to continue to provide the services that the city provides to our citizens. Item number 5 on the consent calendar is a short legislative briefing that I will give to the City Council. So we talked at your last meeting about SB 1262. This is a medical marijuana bill that was co-sponsored by the League of California Cities. It did pass out of the Assembly Business, Profession, and Consumer Protection Committee. This, as I mentioned at your last meeting, would confirm the rights of cities under our broad zoning powers to prohibit medical marijuana dispensaries. Basically, this bill would codify the ruling in the Riverside case. The bill is scheduled for a hearing in the Public Safety Committee on Monday, June 23rd, and I will keep the City Council updated on that as that project progresses. And just as an FYI, the state of California did pass the state budget on Sunday evening, fiscal year 2014-2015. This is the fourth year in a row that the legislature passed an on-time and balanced budget. First time with a true surplus of $1.6 billion that was put into a rainy day fund. And the budget doesn't include an additional $242 million that will be distributed to local cities for street and roadway improvements, and also an increase in law enforcement grants of $27.5 million to help cities combat the effects of realignment at the state level. So with that, Madam Mayor, I am available to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions from the attending audience members? Seeing none, we will close the public comments. And are there any comments from the council members? Okay. Well, seeing no one has any comments, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Please. A second?
I second it.
Okay, please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to be moving on to the public hearing part of our meeting. The next item will be presented by Randy, who will present the staff report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next two items on your agenda, 6 and 7, will be presented by Bud Kopp, our planning manager, regarding designation of 2 historical resources in the city of Rancho Mirage. Bud?
Thank you, Mr. Binder, and good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The first property that we're looking at is located on the west side of San Sal Circle. This is a cul-de-sac containing 6 homes in the Valley of the Sun Estates tract. The single-story residence was designed by master architect William Kreisel and was built by Mouse and Holstein in 1958. The property is an excellent example of desert modern style of architecture as applied to residences in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The current owners are Mr. and Mrs. Simon Margulies, and they purchased the home in May of 2012 and have a letter from Mr. Kreisel stating that the home was a Model A1 Valley of the Sun home. The home is 1,680 square feet, has 3 bedrooms, 1 3/4 bathrooms, and is situated on a 1/4 acre lot. The dwelling includes large expanses of glass sheltered by deep overhangs, clear-story windows, and sliders that provide a west-facing orientation towards the rear patio, pool area, and the mountains beyond. Typical of mid-century homes, the position of the sliders to the patio area creates a seamless indoor-outdoor living space. Upon entering the front gates, an interior garden atrium is open to the sky and separates the garage from the home. The roof line resembles a butterfly roof, but is unique due to the central position of the open atrium. The property has a high level of architectural integrity in its design, materials, workmanship, and setting. The Historic Preservation Commission toured the home on March 11th and agreed this property was contributive to the mid-century era and met the designation requirements. In compliance with the Rancho Mirage Municipal Code, the Commission held a public hearing on May 13th where it was unanimously recommended that the City Council approve designation of the property located at 36467 San Sal Circle as a historic resource pursuant to our Municipal Code, Chapter 1527. As of this date, the City Council has designated 53 homes as historic resources. This would be the city's 54th designated historic resource and the second Kreisel home on San Sal Circle to be designated. Be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any council members that wish to ask Bud any questions? Okay. Well, I will now open it to public hearing. If there's the applicant is here, wishes to say anything, or are there any public members that wish to comment? or ask any questions? Okay, I will now close public hearing, seeing no one that wishes to ask questions, and ask everyone to make a motion, and so we can vote on it.
I'll make a motion. I think we can combine, Steve, both of these in one motion, both acceptance of both.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to accept the residence located at 36467 San Sal Circle for designation as historic resource and placement on the City of Rancho Mirage Register of Historic Resources, as well as nomination of the residence located at 36400 San Sal Circle for designation as a historic resource and placement on the City of Rancho Mirage Register of Historic Resources.
May I have a second?
Second. Madam Mayor, we haven't had the discussion yet on the second property.
Yeah, that's right. They're just both on the same street.
You know, Bud's
Yeah,
only,
you need to do them both.
his presentation is only 16-point font, 1.5 pages. It shouldn't take him more than 38 seconds.
Okay, well, let's move on to the second home then.
Okay, thank you. This home also is in the Valley of the Sun Estates tract located at the end of San Sue Circle. And it was also a home designed by Mr. Kreisel and was built by Mouse and Holstein in 1958. This property is in pristine condition and is an excellent example of the desert modern style. The home is owned by Mrs. Denise Duquesne, and the residence is a little smaller at 1,608 square feet with 3 bedrooms, 1 3/4 baths, and is on nearly 1/3 of an acre in this case. This does meet the design requirements for designation, and the dwelling includes large expanses of glass sheltered by deep overhangs, clear-story windows. It does have seamless indoor-outdoor living space, characteristic of the mid-century design. One kind of unique thing associated with this house is the perpendicular masonry wall that's stacked block pattern, and also the fireplace has that pattern as well. The large rear yard that you see on the screen includes a pool area, elevated sitting area, and a fire plate that takes advantage of the slight upslope of the lot. And the low butterfly roof really frames some exceptional views over the home towards the Santa Rosa Mountains to the south. Originally, the Historic Preservation Commission toured this home in 2010, and at that time it was in a state of disrepair. The current owners purchased the home in December 2011 with the intent on restoring it and applying for designation, and the commission retoured the home this past March, and agreed that the home was in exceptional condition at this point and enthusiastically recommended the home for designation. This would be, considering the staff report that you just heard, this would be the city's 55th designation of a historic resource, and the second Kreisel home on this cul-de-sac as well. So there would be a total of 4 Kreisel homes designated in the Valley of the Sun with this approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Bud, I didn't mean to step on your toes. Did you have another question?
I do. Was it built as a development all in one track, or were they built by home in this cul-de-sac?
Well, they were individually built, sure. They were all designed by William Kreisel, and they were all built by Mouse and Holstein. And it was a tract-type development, but it is unique in the aspect that all of the homes share a common architectural style that was really common in that era. And once the homes are rehabilitated and comply with designation standards, it might even be interesting for the commission to consider designation of these cul-de-sacs as a district.
If that's where I was going. Bud, were there extensive remodeling to bring them back up to speed, or up to when these people bought these homes?
Yes, there was. And oftentimes they consulted with an architectural historian or a developer that had experience in renovating historic homes to bring them into the style of the era.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bud, and thank you for some clarification on some of those issues.
You're welcome. And pretty pictures.
And pretty pictures. They're wonderful. These are beautiful homes, and it's so nice that people want to bring them back and get them on our list. And I have to say a special thank you to you and to our entire Historical Preservation Commission, who goes out, investigates all these different properties, and tries to make sure that these homes remain untouched, and if they are, they certainly will conform to the existing code requirements that make them a historical home. It's very important for us to maintain these homes, and we're thrilled that this committee is doing that. So, now that we have a motion and a second regarding the first home, maybe we can vote on that. So everyone cast your vote.
Either that or, Madam Mayor, we can amend it to include both residents.
Then we will do that. I was only fooling. Okay.
That's acceptable.
Okay. All right, everyone cast your vote, please, for both homes to be approved. Okay, motion carries 4-0. So now we're going to be moving on to a staff report from Randy Villegas in regard to the rate increase for solid waste and recycling services from Vertec. And
Madam Mayor, if I can.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Randy Vegas was called to jury duty, so Bruce Harry will be doing the presentation.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Bruce. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We missed you.
Missed you as well.
Speak for yourself.
This item before you today is regarding a public hearing, which we will open after the staff report. The mayor will open the staff report. But back in February of this year, as a little bit of history, the City Council approved a new 6-year solid waste and recycling contract with Vertec Waste and Recycling Services, LLC, located in Palm Desert, California. As a follow-up to that approval, a Proposition 218 public hearing notification was required in order to comply with a state law requirement that all affected property owners be notified of any rate increases which the new contract proposes to take effect on July 1st of this year. A copy of the Proposition 218 notice of public hearing appears on page 8.5 of the staff report. The notice clearly identifies today's public hearing and current and proposed monthly residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection rates. In the summary of the rate increases in table starting on page 8-1 of the staff report, a CPI increase of 1.14%, which only applies to the collection portion of the rate, there's also a disposal portion in that rate as well, is being proposed for both residential and commercial accounts. The typical residential account is proposed to increase from $16.93 to $17.09 per month, which equates to a 16-cent increase. And the typical commercial account is proposed to increase from $107.26 to $108.04 per month, equating to a 78-cent increase. For everyone's information, the last rate increase was a 1.34% CPI increase back in July of 2011. Also, in order to meet the state's recycling requirements, an increase to commercial recycling accounts is necessary to cover additional costs related to commercial recycling programs and to be in compliance with state requirements. However, even with the proposed rate increase on the commercial recycling accounts, there is still an incentive for commercial accounts to recycle. Commercial recycling rates, as compared to solid waste rates, are half the cost. So basically, if you pick up a bin of solid waste versus recycling is half the cost of solid waste. So there is an incentive to recycle. Finally, the 15% low-income discount, which the city has offered, equates to a $2.54 per month discount, is being eliminated because it violates Proposition 26, Proposition 218, and numerous court cases, which prohibits one party from subsidizing another party. This change will affect 9 property owners who currently are enrolled in this program. By approving the resolution today, there's a rate schedule that will be attached to the resolution that will not show the low-income rate discount, and therefore it will be eliminated. Staff mailed out Prop 218 notices to all affected property owners for today's hearing. The city received 11 phone calls and 4 letters from residents requesting clarifications and additional information. 3 of the 4 written letters from residents protested the proposed residential rate increases. The city received no written protest or inquiries from any Rancho Mirage businesses. Staff feels that we satisfactorily addressed all the inquiries. Staff recommends that the mayor open the public hearing and take any and all public testimony. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the mayor shall close the public hearing, and the city council will determine if a majority protests exists. Unless a majority protests exists at the conclusion of the public hearing, staff recommends that the city council adopt the attached resolution next in order establishing solid waste and recycling collection and disposal rates for all classes of customers to be effective July 1st, 2014. A correction was made to Exhibit F2 by way of a new staff report entitled Page 8-7A, which was distributed by the city clerk earlier today. The correction basically just eliminated a line that was inadvertently added to the table, but there was no changes in the actual fees. This concludes my staff report, and I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Are there any council members wishing to ask any questions? Richard?
Just a comment, and I think that most of the residents of the city of Rancho Mirage really know what kind of a benefit they're getting through our trash collection service. Burtec does a great job. They perform a better service in the city of Rancho Mirage than in any other city in the valley, and most people are really amazed at what we pay for the service that we get. And certainly there's only been one increase now. This will be the first increase within the last 3 years. So I think this increase is certainly warranted based on their calculations, and we continue to get the best trash service in the valley. So would hope that once we get to a vote on this, it'll be a unanimous vote.
Thank you, Richard. I would agree completely. Are there any members of the audience who would like to speak on this matter? Okay, we have 2 people that have turned in yellow cards. Why don't I call them first? One is Joseph Cotanton. Okay. Come on forward.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, council members, and staff. This is not in opposition to the increase. However, I do have a question. Oh, by the way, I'm Joe Connaughton, a board member of the Mission Shores HOA and the liaison to the Rancho Mirage City government for the board. Again, I am not in opposition, but I have one question and then maybe a suggestion. Do we know the actual value, not a percentage, of the recycled materials that are collected by Burtec as a dollar amount? And my reason for asking this is to ascertain that, as in a number of other cities, an increase in the amount of recycled materials collected would decrease the need for an increase, or at least slow the rate of increase for refuse collection. There is enough evidence in a search of the web and my own experience in the city of Monrovia, where the increased recycled materials resulted in a reduction in the collection fees. And so whether or not an increase in recycled materials is collected, I think the city of Rancho Mirage should become very proactive in promoting by every means possible at its disposal, pun intended, to increase the awareness of recycling within the city of Rancho Mirage, because it has to pay off, even if it's just for the environment. And I thank you for the time allotted for me to speak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another yellow sheet from Ron Honstein from Rancho Mirage. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is Ron Honstein. I'm a 2-year resident of Rancho Mirage. I am a resident of the artisan area of Rancho Mirage. I am a 3rd-generation garbage collector with 41 years of experience collecting, 32 years of which I was owner-operator of a solid waste collection business in Washington County, Oregon. I would ask the council to direct staff to rename these rate hearings as rate adjustment hearings, because rates can go up and rates can go down. My experience in rate review at the county level in Washington County, Oregon, has found me that rates do go up and rates can go down. I would support this rate increase. The services that are provided for solid waste collection and recycling for residential and commercial businesses in the city are extremely reasonable price-wise. My experience in regards to recycling collection is that it is a horrendous money loser, all aspects of it, because of the cost of collection and marketing of the material. I think that the conditions that the collectors work under are extremely brutal because of the hot weather. They work hard, they put in long hours, and it is extremely hard on the equipment to go every day under these conditions. With this all said, I would hope that the City Council would approve this rate increase. I'll stand by if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. And thank you for appearing here. Anyone on the council have any comments or questions? Richard?
You want to close the public hearing?
Close the public hearing.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience wish to come forward with questions or comments? Okay. Public hearing now closed. And moving on to council comments.
Bruce, did you have something further to say?
No, certainly I can get back with the gentleman with regards to the recycling dollars. We can get with Burtech on that and find out exactly how much of the recycling portion that they have certain vendors and stuff that they move this recycling material on. But I agree with the last speaker. We've checked into the recycling, and it's very difficult sometimes to get rid of some of this stuff. It's very expensive. Some people don't want it. I know for years when we had waste management here years ago, they had a hard time accepting taking on the recycling because it was so expensive for them to deal with, and they really weren't getting reimbursed for what it really cost them to handle the material. So, but we will certainly get the information to the property owner and let him know.
Thank you so
If
much.
I can get your contact information at the end of the meeting.
We have it right here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Richard?
We're ready for a motion?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll move that we adopt resolution number 2014 next in line, establishing solid waste and recycling collection and disposal rates for all classes of customers to be effective July 1, 2014, as presented.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, second by Ted. Please cast your votes. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Okay. Moving on now to the action items. And may we have reports, please, from the staff member, who I believe is going to be Isaiah Hagerman, our Finance Director. And this is regarding Proposition 4, appropriations limit for fiscal year 2014-15.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. The Proposition 4 appropriations limit is brought to the City Council on an annual basis. It's required to be approved annually. The intent of the appropriations limit was to restrict the amount that local governments could appropriate for expenditure. In our case, this legal requirement really has no practical implication since the city is $38.1 million under the current limit with our 14-15 budget. We have provided as an attachment to the staff report the detailed calculation along with the California Department of Finance letter that has the adjustment factors to the appropriation limit. So staff here is recommending the approval of the Proposition 4 appropriations limit for fiscal year 14-15, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Do any council members have any questions or comments? No? Richard? No? Okay. Then may I have a motion to approve this?
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2014, establishing the Proposition 4 appropriations limit for full year 2014-15 and the factors used to calculate the appropriation limit.
Okay. May I have a second? I second it. All right, please cast your vote. And the motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item number 10, which is going to be a presentation by Sean Smith, our Economic Development and Housing Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. On an annual basis, the rules and regulations for each housing authority property are reviewed and presented to the board for approval. The proposed revisions for fiscal year 2014-15 were presented to the Housing Commission on March 12th and received recommendation for approval by the board. Additionally, the proposed revisions were discussed with the Housing Subcommittee consisting of board members Kite and Weil. While the number of changes being proposed this year is considerably less than those of last year, they are important as we continue to adapt to the loss of annual housing revenue from the former redevelopment agency. The proposed changes are detailed in the staff report, but are summarized as follows. Currently, rent is determined based on prior year's income of a resident. Because this is many times not a true reflection of the resident's actual income, it is proposed that rent be determined based on the resident's actual current income. Additionally, 2% of the non-interest bearing assets, for example, checking accounts or cash on hand or non-dividend paying stocks totaling more than $5,000 would be considered as income, with 2% of that being considered. The minimum base rents are being revised to show the lower of the CPI increase or increase to Social Security, which in this case is 1.1%. And this increase brings the minimum base rents for a one-bedroom unit to a low of $315 per month at Whispering Waters, to a high of $539 a month at San Jacinto Villas, and to a low of $368 at Parkview Villas, to a high of $565 at San Jacinto Villas for a two-bedroom. Rent calculations are currently rounded to the nearest $5. It's proposed that the rent be rounded to the nearest $1 instead after all other fees and additional charges have been added. The section regarding prescription rent credits is proposed to be reduced from the current $100 per month to a $50 a month limit. And that concludes my report on the changes to the rules and regulations, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions?
Just a brief comment. I know Ted and I worked a lot of hours with Sean and put this together. And I think the changes, even though they're just a few changes, do make sense going forward and bring our rules and regulations up to where they should be. And we appreciate the time you put in, Sean. You did a great job on this. And I know Ted and I will continue to review these in the future and update them as needed.
Thank you both.
Thank you. This is not a public hearing. However, if there are any members of the public that would like to address this item, now would be the time. Seeing none, could we have the council members, if they would like to discuss something, or if we can have a motion?
I'll just make one comment. This is a very important aspect, because the city is very proud to produce an affordable housing product for those of our residents that are in need. We're proud of it. It's well maintained. And likewise, it's important that we monitor the requirements of those people that are occupying those units for the reason that we don't want to preclude anyone that is in need, so that those are being monitored regularly, the criteria is being reviewed regularly, and consequently, Sean, who heads up that area, brings that regularly to the subcommittee, and as that Councilman Kite said, we can continue to review that and take on this responsibility very seriously.
Thank you, Ted. Richard, did you want to comment also, or?
No, I think that's fine. We can move ahead here.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, moving along. Can we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion, sitting as the Housing Authority Board of Directors, that we adopt the revised rules and regulations and associated documents for the Housing Authority's age-restricted affordable housing properties.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, everyone cast your vote, please. Okay, the motion carries 4-0. And moving on to item number 11. And I presume that Bruce Harry is going to be filling us in on this one too. Thank you,
Thank you,
Bruce.
Madam Mayor. In March of this year, the City Council approved a preliminary engineering and cost analysis study from Nobel Energy Solutions, LLC, for the construction of solar and parking shade structures at the Rancho Mirage Public Library. Nobel Energy Solutions has completed their study, and staff reviewed and concurs with the findings and recommendations of the study, which includes construction of an integrated system of parking shade structures and solar panels. The facilities are proposed to be constructed in the westerly parking lot of the library. The solar system will be sized to generate approximately 85 to 90% of the library's electricity usage, while providing essential shade for approximately 135 public parking spaces. Successor agency bond proceeds in the amount of $3 million has already been allocated for this project, and any of the three studied parking structure and solar facility options can be constructed within this budget. Major benefits of the project include reduction of energy costs to the library estimated at $80,000 per year, the ability to provide parking shade for 135 public spaces, and be able to construct the proposed project from design, build to completion starting this August with completion by November of this year. The Rancho Mirage Municipal Code authorizes the City Council to utilize a building design procurement method instead of a formal bidding procurement method for the design and construction of certain public improvements, where the city's best interests would be best served by entering into a negotiated design-build contract. On page 11.3 of the staff report are findings which identify and support that this is in the city's best interest for the city to enter into a negotiated design-build contract with Nobel Energy Solutions, LLC for the subject public improvement. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the attached resolution next in order, making certain findings pursuant to Rancho Mirage Municipal Code Section 3.34.110, and additionally approving and authorizing execution of an agreement with Nobel Energy Solutions, LLC for the design, construction, and maintenance of the solar facilities and parking shade structures located at the Rancho Mirage Public Library in an amount not to exceed $2,945,826, subject to the approval as to form by the City Attorney. This concludes my staff report, and I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Are there any questions from council members?
Just one question, Bruce. What's the schedule for the construction and design?
If we get this approval today, Nobel is ready to move forward. We have a meeting that we could set up next week, as early as next week, to go over the design of the parking structures. We have 3 conceptual designs There's 2 of them we're favoring at this point. Both of them can easily be built within this budget. We would probably start construction by August of this year and be completed by November.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sounds wonderful. Quite a savings. That's it? Okay. Anyone from the public have any comments or questions? All right, public comment. Okay, would you please come forward so we can hear your question? And you are Joseph? Yes.
My name is Joe Kamatin. Just a quick question. Looking at the figures quickly, 85% on 8K, about 68,000. And so, I don't have a calculator. What's the payback period for this cost?
The project includes the building of the shade structures, which certainly there's no payback typically on that. And the solar itself, the payback is typically on any type of a project you do like this, probably 10 to 15 years, but this is being paid for with our bond successor bond proceeds, which is no cost to the city. So we're using this money, so there really is no need for any type of a payback because we're going to own the system right as soon as it's constructed. We'll own it and we won't owe any money on it.
So we have immediate savings, is your point.
I asked that because our HOA is looking at all these kind of solar.
Typically, on a residential house right now, you're looking at probably a 5 to 7 year payback with the rebates that are currently out there.
Yeah, I'm talking about for total HOA and building.
Well, we have our solar consultant here. He can probably help answer some of those questions. Fred, you want to try to tackle that?
I'm sorry?
Fred.
Our solar consultant's here, so he can probably answer
this.
Great. All right, thanks, Bruce.
He's right behind you.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Come down forward and fill us in.
Good afternoon, Fred Bell, partner, Nobel Energy Solutions. Typically on something like that, payback would be about 8 to 10 years. It depends on the agencies, and when I talk about agency, whether governmental agency cannot take advantage of the tax benefits, which elongates the payback. If you're a private entity, these things are typically geared to a 5 to 7 year payback because of the tax incentives that are involved. Public agencies can't do that, so it's a little bit further out, but you're still looking at about a 8 to 10 year payback on this project.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fred. Any other public comments or questions? Seeing none, the public comment period is now closed. And would council members like to discuss anything further, or would you make a motion, please?
I'll be happy to make the motion to adopt resolution number 2014, approving an agreement with Nobel Energy Solutions, LLC, for the design, construction, and maintenance of solar facilities and parking shade facilities at the City Library, project number CP 14-310.
Have a second?
Second that.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, you need to go back and read the recommendation.
Okay, so let's go back and read the full recommendation.
Which gets the dollar amount involved,
Right.
which was not before.
Okay. Okay.
That's on page 11-1.
Yes, the first page. Okay, and if you could include the dollar amount. Just read the whole thing.
Okay. Adopt the attached resolution number 2014, making certain findings pursuant to section 3.34.110 of the City Municipal Code, and additionally, approving and authorizing execution of an agreement with Nobel Energy Solutions, LLC, for the design, construction, and maintenance of solar facilities and parking shade structures at the City Library, project number CP 14-310, in an amount not to exceed $2,945,826.00, subject to the approval as to the form by the city attorney.
Thank you, Ted.
Second the motion.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Bruce. Everyone, please cast your vote.
Thank you, Randy.
And the motion carries 4-0. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Bruce. That was a very nice presentation. And moving on now to item number 12. And this is going to be taken care of by our wonderful library director, David Bryant. And it's about the Library Foundation Bylaws Amendment.
Thank you, Mayor Smotrich, members of the Library Board, and thank you, too, for the vote that preceded this. The support for solar is so important to our budget and to our efficiency in terms of operations. So thank you for that. Today, specifically, the request is that you approve an amendment to the Library Foundation bylaws. Article 2, Section 2, reducing terms of directors to 1 year, retroactive to June 2013, with a maximum of 4 consecutive appointments. This recommendation will align foundation directors' appointments to the City Council's annual appointments of commissioners to the city's various commissions. This amendment was approved unanimously by the Library Foundation Board of Directors at its monthly meeting last Wednesday, June 11th. The Foundation Board requests that the Library Board approve this amendment. I can answer any questions or give you more background, except to say that at this time, terms are 3 years. And we think that with a 1-year term, it gives you more opportunities to perhaps freshen up the board if necessary, to reappoint good directors. And we have certainly a very good board at this time. So it's really to bring the potential of vibrancy and change to the board, but also to align it with city commissions, as you already have the 1-year appointments. But I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, David. Are there any council comments or questions?
David, just a couple of questions. First of all, the existing board members, what's their status?
They are, half are on 3-year terms that end 2016, and half are on 3-year terms that will end this year, 2014.
And those that have terms ending in 2016, what's their position on the board? Do they stay on until that date?
They would stay on the board if you reappoint them, because this amendment calls for their having to be reappointed after this amendment passes, because this is retroactive to June of 2013.
So even though they have a date of 2016, their term would then be changed to 2014-15? 2014.
It would bring a brand new finish date for all current foundation directors to this June of 2014, and by making it retroactive to June of 2013.
Okay, and the one other change that we're making, which is not a part of any of the other commissions, is the limitation to 4 terms.
I thought that was within your other commissions as well, and I think you have typically, by practice, waived that.
We do.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I believe that is within the
It is.
commissions.
Okay.
4-year, maximum of 4 consecutive terms.
Right, so those individuals do come up for reappointment every year, even though we have the 4-year term in there.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So this would put everyone on equal footing in the Library Foundation as well as all the other commissions.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any other questions by council? Comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? All right, public comments are closed. Maybe we could take a vote. Somebody make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion for approval of the amendment to consideration of the Library Foundation bylaws, Article 2, Section 2, terms of office of Library Foundation directors, and make a comment that it will now be consistent with all of the other commissions in the city.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second the motion.
Okay, please cast your vote. Okay, motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. And now moving on to our last item, which is item number 13. And this is going to be handled by Cindy Scott, our city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor.
As you know, the majority of the appointments to the city boards and commissions were made at your May 15th and June 5th city council meetings. 2 vacancies remain on the Emergency Preparedness Commission, and applications are still being accepted for those 2 vacancies. Today, the following nominations are offered by confirmation by the city council. For the Emergency Preparedness Commission, Mayor Smotrich nominates Megan Lee and Sion Prudian. For the Housing Commission, Mayor Smotrich nominates Mary Bundy. And due to the council action that you just took, we are going to present the nominees for the Rancho Mirage Public Foundation. Councilmember Townsend nominates Barbara Barrett and Nancy Cunningham. Councilmember Kite nominates Deanne Nichols and Beth Ellen Fromm. Councilmember Weil nominates Lucy Mipos and Charles Rich. And Mayor Pro Tem Hobart nominates Sherry Stewart and Paula Adam. Mayor Smotrich nominates Janet Daggett and Diane Sagan. These nominations may be confirmed by a single vote of the City Council.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from council? Okay. Any questions from the audience? The hearing's now closed. Please cast your vote. Oh, someone make a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the nominations as presented by the city clerk to the various commissions that have just been reviewed.
Thank you. And someone will second it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. And the motion carries 4-0. And I want to also extend a special thanks to Megan Lee, who is married to our wonderful Dr. Paul Kopsky. And Megan and Paul really were so instrumental in putting together and bringing to our commission the Race to Be Ready idea. And it was with their help and their assistance and all their guidance that was such a miraculous event. And we're looking forward to having it every year from now on. So thank you again. And we're so thrilled to have you on our board, Megan. Thank you. All right. Well, moving right along here, I thank you all for attending today. Apparently we have no closed session items, so with no further business to consider, this meeting is now adjourned.